Holy cow, baseball is back. All right, let's do episode 2 of the 2026 season. Spring training has officially started in the Cactus League for the 2026 version of Chicago Cubs as they took on the White Sox today. The White Sox won the game 8-1. I'm not going to do any kind of recap or anything for giving too much energy to the outcome of that game because it's spring training. It has no weight. We know where the Cubs are going to be in October, and we know where the Sox are going to be in October. I'm just going to say it's good to see baseball back once again. It was cold out here today, and watching baseball just gives me all the warm vibes that summer provides. Warm feelings. Needed that because that Hawk was out there doing numbers, putting up Jordan flu game type numbers. Today, I want to talk about a few things that happened this week. Tom Ricketts addressing the media and the team, Zach Gallen deciding where he wants to play this season, and some players that I'm looking to take their game to the next level. So let's go ahead and dig right in. Let's start with Ricketts. First thing that I took from his address was his tone. The man had an owner tone, that win now tone, that classic George Steinbrenner type of tone. You don't usually see that out of Chicago sports owners. Definitely not Jerry. George McCaskey doesn't really talk to the media a whole lot. And when you do hear from him, he more so strikes as a fan that's pulling the strings, a la Vito Corleone. Now, tone is one thing, but what he was saying in addition to that is what makes it all important. He was talking that win now talk. He was saying, I put all this money into this team just underneath the luxury tax, and come trade deadline, there won't be any issue if we need to go over the luxury tax to get a guy that's going to take us over that line. We got the horses. Basically, you're saying there's no excuses. I'm with that. Not to be competitive in the division, but to win the thing outright. And anything less than a deep playoff run would be unacceptable. He told fans also, another thing that I took from this, he told fans to enjoy the season. And to be really honest with you, that did sound like a little bit of a warning. When you take a step back and look at the expiring contracts on this team and the CBA expiration that's set for December 1st, where everyone expects there to be some type of work stoppage in Major League Baseball for the 2027 season, you gotta adjust your sights and say this is a win now season. This opportunity for the Cubs is looking like the 1994 Expos. You might not get this shot again. You need to go all in and leave it all on the field. Let the dust settle where it falls. Next thing. Last week, the big news was the Cubs were the favorites to get Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen, for those who are not paying attention to what's going on in the NL West, he's a top to the middle type of the rotation type of pitcher. His last 4 years in Arizona, he averaged 3.6 ERA with about 14 wins and about 8 losses, 185 strikeouts per season. What he decided to do this week, he decided to go back to Arizona on a 1-year deal. Now, I took that two ways. The first way was for the Cubs. Of course, they wanted to get him on a long-term deal because they have a bunch of players coming off the books after this season. Suzuki, Ian Happ. But even more important than just those two guys in the outfield, you got a lot of notable pitchers coming off the books after this season. Emerson Taillon, Matt Boyd, and possibly Justin Steele and Shohei Ohtani right there with them. Will work stoppage more than happening after this season? You want to get these guys locked into pre-negotiation contracts because you don't know what the market's going to look like further down the road. Also, that same token, other side of that coin, Zach is betting on himself. He's thinking the market's probably going to be bet on the other side of this assumed work stoppage. I have no reason to believe either one is looking at it wrong. So we got two competing thoughts on what's the best plan of action is. I wish Zach all the luck in Arizona, just as long as his luck doesn't interfere with the Cubs taking over the National League in 2026. The last topic I got. Here's my three guys looking to go to the next level this season. Zips says the Cubs got the third best lineup in the majors, but no real superstars. And that's okay. That's okay because in baseball, you don't need a superstar to win the World Series. Just a team that is locked all the way in when it's time to really turn it on. And if these three guys go to the next level, that's exactly where the Cubs will be. First up, Michael Busch. He had a crazy 2025. He had 34 home runs, 90 RBIs, and he was probably the Cubs' best bat all throughout the whole entire season, including Nico Horner. Plus, in the playoffs, he had another 4 home runs on 8 hits with 4 RBIs. He was really clutch in helping the Cubs get out to early leads against those Brewers in the NLDS. But it's the splits where his improvements will come from. Against right-handed batters, he was a dog, elite. He had a 910 OPS with a 151 WRC plus, which, for those that don't know, that is weighted runs created plus. It is a measurement for a hitter's total offensive value. It's adjusted for the league, the ERA, and the ballpark effects with 100 representatives for the league average. Now, Michael Busch, he was 51% better than the league average. Dog. Against lefties, he was struggling. He had a 642 OPS with a 207 batting average across 95 plate appearances. That's rough. It's not totally unplayable, but if you can bring that up just a little bit, we're talking about a guy hitting in the neighborhood of 40 home runs. He'll be the first left-handed batter for the Cubs to hit 40 home runs since Billy Williams. Not Kyle Schwarber, not anybody else. Second player, Dansby Swanson. According to StatCast, his expected batter average was 267, and his expected slug was about 480. What does that mean? We're talking about a batting average that is about 20 points higher than what he actually posted, and a slugging percentage that was about points higher than what he actually had. And I'm a 3 player on my list. The villain arc for Shada Eminaga starts now. That hamstring injury really messed him up last season. Pitcher success starts with the legs. If you can't push off and you can't control your velocity, not in the neighborhood of 100 miles per hour anyway, all of the mechanics are needed for him to be successful. You remember how many of his pitchers were getting sent to the 5th row last season? Well, you got an answer for why. The good news coming out of Mesa is that his velocity seems to be back. He's out here throwing 94 to 96 miles per hour reportedly. So when he's on, he's an ace, and I'm expecting him to be on a lot this season. Fly to W, let's go. Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say 3 things. Bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.